Hey everyone, this is Luke Johnson for KnowYourPoker. Welcome back to another one of these chilled 1 hour live plays. Hope you guys enjoy. Fast check from the PFR. We're just going to go for a small bet and we're going to bluff most rivers here. And we don't even need to because he folds the turn. Great. So here is a play immediately. I don't think my play is very good there, to be honest with you. Actually, it probably is okay to bet small. However, I did that every time, which is probably not fine, because he snap checked the flop. And I'm expecting on that board a snap check just to be some give up or some marginal hand that will surely fold versus 2 streets, and apparently this time facing just 1 street. Today, for reference, we're playing the GG Russian Cash NL100 tables, and we're going to play for an hour, completely unedited. We'll be talking theory, we'll be talking exploits. I expect this type of stake is really fantastic for YouTube because it's the stake that people can start going pro if they play a lot of volume. Going to play a raise here. I'm not going to shove, but I think this is fine. This guy should be dead money now. Cool. I don't know splash pot strategy, so that might just be terrible. But it feels like 2 high cards. I'm not expecting, or rather I should say, I don't know the under the gun range. There's a good chance that he is uncapped with a limp, which is not usually the case, but in that position, in that situation where he's under the gun and there's 10 big blinds of dead money, it kind of makes sense to play lots of limps there. So we could be running into a strong hand, but obviously also a lot of junk as well. So I like my decision there. As always, we'll be tagging as we go. The goal of this video, or these videos, because I've made a few of them in the past, is to really show you how I would go about playing this pool if I was taking it seriously and trying to make a lot of money. So tagging, paying attention to sizes, timings are all very important. A7-3, just going to go for a middling sizing around B40. You should be mixing this one, but hey, it's fine to bet. And it's also fine to check. I'm not going to play with an RNG, to be honest with you. We'll just feel it out. If I was... I don't think it's super important to play with an RNG at these games. If you will, you can try and come to a conclusion in each situation. This is a reasonable spot to squeeze exploitatively. I'm just expecting it to work way too well. Faces the min opens. Good exploits. Going to go half pot range. We do block king queen suited here. Fast call. Okay, we'll play one more bet and we'll check the river unless the river comes a jack. Even on a king, it's not that clear. And now we do beat... not really. We could beat queens and a hearts if it's in his range. Unlikely. I think pretty clear check. Think about the worst hand you value bet on the turn. It's going to be ace-king. Maybe you find king-jack of diamonds. But that's a special hand, right? Outside of that, your weakest value bet is ace-king. So you should definitely now check back the bottom of your value range. Yes, you beat king-9. Yes, you might think, oh, he could have called that. In truth, he could have called that. But also, he's got a lot better hands than me, like king-queen, king-10. So try to understand that it's your worst arriving value hand, aside from the occasional king-jacks that you have. Here we're going to go for a small bet. I play a very loose 3-bet here versus the yellow tag. I think you can do the same. Fast call, we're going to see bet again. This is going to allow me to figure out where I am. If he's got a good hand, he will not snap call. He will think about raising, or he will just fold. So it's an information bet, you could say, and it does get some fold equity. This raise makes a lot of sense. He can win the hand there. I'm looking for a snap call, really, so I can bet a 3rd street. Complete exploit against the yellow tag. Yellow tag is going to be some kind of weaker player. So, min open, which is fine, but short stack. Very likely that player is not professional. Call, ace-10, 5. You can play a pot sizing here, you can block. It depends on open sizing, depends on rake. I'm going to go with a range bet. People are a little bit too uptight sometimes about getting the perfect strategy. They might see a board and say, oh, you should bet big. That's a pot board, you shouldn't bet small. But there's many ways to play poker. it does depend on the open sizing and rake. So if you open small and the rake is very low, you can range bet, but if you open big and the rake's very high, you cannot range bet. And that's because if the rake is high and the open's big, there's less junk in the big blind's range, and the less junk there is, the less you want to range bet. So in this case, I probably shouldn't range bet because the rake is high, but I did open small. And I frankly don't care, to be honest. I think this is fine. This ace-8's a marginal open. It's fine, but it's not always. Ace-7's a pure fold, ace-9's a pure open, so it's really on the cusp. Gonna open here into 2 short stack blinds. Would open very wide here. Probably opening around 55-60% if I had to guess. It's a reasonable flop. And he's even thinking about leading here. So this timing from him makes me want to size up. To be fair, I probably would have sized up anyway, but it just lends me to think that he was thinking about betting. And if he's thinking about betting, I'm going to have less fold equity. Great turn for my hand. Not for my range, obviously. This is actually, probably he could just lead his entire range here, because I wouldn't be betting many fives for big sizing, but he would definitely be calling them. And this also makes sense with him thinking about betting. A weaker player might think about leading out his top pair. So, going to tax him. Calls. Okay, I'm pretty sure, unless he's got a boat, I'm getting his money. I don't think I've got much fold equity here. This is a really, really bad bluff situation. And if it's a bad bluff situation, it usually means you get paid with the value. Question is, if I'm beat. No, I do have the best hand this time. It's a gamble, right? Sorry, dude. He could have trips, he could have a boat, and he could have a couple of worse straights. And if he does have a boat, don't be frustrated. Well, if you want, you can be frustrated, but don't blame yourself. Don't level yourself thinking, oh, that was a bad play, it was too thin. Realistically, it was fine. He had a boat that time, another time you have the king 5. We're rocking the 16 VPIP. Wow, we'll try and get that up. I just realized what I said. Try to keep the innuendos to a minimum here. It's going to be an unedited video. So, yeah, this is too loose. I would play very, very, very wide here. Min open, good pot odds, yellow big blind, but ace deuce offsuit is just a pip too wide there. I like to think about those situations as you've got implied pot odds, because the recreational is going to under squeeze and very often just complete the big blind. So we're calling 1 or 1.5 rather, but the chances are the big blind's going to complete as well. So you've got implied pot odds there, because the chances are you're calling 1.5 into 8, not 7, if the big blind completes. It's not perfect, but you get the idea. Folding here, the 8-7, big open sizing. We could 3-bet, get shoved into by this guy. So yeah, I'm going to fold. King 8, I'm just going to fold here. I think that's the correct play. Like I mentioned, guys, I'm going to try and play discipline pre-flop. Let's just quickly move on before we regret that too much. That would have probably been, in a splashy pot like that, it would have probably had to be an all-in there on that flop. 8 high flop is about as good as it gets from my hand, obviously. Gonna raise. The limps are very, very weak from recreationals, so just going to attack them. Gonna go for a small bet. Gonna go for a min bet here. It gives me a lot of information, similar to the King 7 earlier on the monotone board. Jack 8's fringy. I think it's a fold if you open bigger, but I open very small. Going to check range here. Very good board for the big blind, particularly because I open so small, so he can defend hands like 4-3 offsuit, 6-4 offsuit, 7-5 offsuit. You get the idea. It's not a great board for me at all. We do have 2 open-enders we can turn. A 6 and a 9 is an open-ender here. Still going to fold, but make sure you count those future straights. The 9 is a double gut shot for us. It's good to think about those. If I had Jack 8 backdoor, it's actually better than Jack 9, I think. Feel free to run that one in the solver. Gonna 3-bet the ace queen and pocket kings. All right, nice and deep here. Not the flop we were hoping for. Gonna go b40 on the left table, and just standard check. This is not a high frequency board, and obviously kings is the first hand in your range to check because you don't need protection and is not pushing much equity on the ace high board. Ace queen. Gonna fire. Kings, nice hands, nice bets. Get called. Well, that's about as good as a river I can ask for. To shove on, complete blank. Just expecting enough folds here. The turn is very spewy, the river's very good. But the turn's very spewy, like I said. Perhaps the river's very good, but you shouldn't arrive. It's not good, but he's not folded yet, because if he's not folded yet, he's probably calling, is the way the spot works. They'll fold within 5 seconds, and if they don't fold, you're probably getting called. Put the emote in. Try and get some extra fold equity if I do have any. Now I think he's folding. He's taking too long here. What do you have? 10x of hearts? I think he's calling. I'm so invested into this. I really want the fold now. Good luck. Uh-oh. Shut the bluff. Max Payne. I was so invested into that hand. My heart rate got up there. I don't know why I got so excited over that. 3.5. Fold, I think. So take a note on this. Sorry for the looking down there. I've got a mic. I think you guys can see it in the webcam. My microphone's right by my keyboard. So we take a note because I don't think he's going to be only opening 3.5, which means if we see in the future that he opens 2.5 and I happen to click his tag or see the note, then I can immediately get a read there. Ace 8, we're nice and deep with a big blind here. I'm going to 3-bet this time, and I'm also going to go back on what I said earlier. I am going to open an RNG because I would have loved to have played some call here. Although, to be honest with you, you probably shouldn't play cold call in this rake structure with the 2.5x open. So yeah, in hindsight, this was a raise fold. We're going to check fold the flop here. The king 10-6. People get this board very wrong. People love to range bet this board. It's actually a big sizing board. Now, if it was king 10-5 rainbow, you can range bet, but king 10-6 two-tone is actually very different, despite being aesthetically quite similar. So this is a polarized board for me. Fast half pot. All right, so we're just going to get very out of line here. You shouldn't be doing this, but this is a good play in my opinion. I just don't rate his play much here. I think I'm going to get a lot of folds in the river. I wish I'd raised faster though. Jack. No, that seems pretty good to me actually. I just don't rate the fast half pot and his check on flop. I think it's very middling. I wish I had raised faster though on the turn. Is my only concern here. But yeah. So why am I doing this? He didn't bet the flop, and then he only bet half pot and he bet very fast, which tells me that his hand wasn't worth more. Now, if he had taken some time, just 5 seconds, and then bet half pot, to me, here we go, look. Oh no, never mind. I thought this was the guy who opened 3.5. Sorry. Alright, we're going to play a fold here, actually. I don't want to play cold call, and I don't like 3-betting this off 50 blinds. I want to be deeper with the 8-7 suited, because if I hit my hand, I'm going to stack him. And I don't want to stack him for half a buy-in. Not to sound greedy, but the way that hand works is that you make a lot of money or not much money at all. So when you do make money, you want to maximize each win. When you get short stacked, you would rather play a hand like King Queen offsuits, Ace Jack offsuits, because those hands are more linear and they make money more linearly in showdown value and hitting random pairs. Min open, so he's going to be some kind of recreational, which is ironic given I open small. So this guy's still doing the 3.5x. Okay. Maybe he is only doing that. 1. I just lose this one. I got better hands to get out of line with. So getting back to the ace-8 there. Ace-9. Okay, fine. 2.5x. Let's play a call here. This guy seems very reggy. Thailand flag. Min opening under the gun. Screams reg to me. Anyway, the ace-8 of clubs. So the snap half pots signals that he really wanted a bit half pot there. If he took longer, he could have been thinking about different sizes, and it turned out that with his range, he wanted to go with that size. But when he snap bets half pot, it tells me he didn't want to bet bigger. It didn't enter his mind, which is, in my opinion, weaker. Queen Jack, we check back. 1, I was autopiloting with the ace-8 story, and 2, it's a very good ball for the small blinds, so I wasn't wanting to bet this one every time. King 10, kind of reluctantly calling this. I don't expect population is bluffing enough in the big blind versus the cutoff. It's my read. So usually you can take King 10 and 4-bet, but yeah, if I've got less bluffs in his range, presumably, then I don't want to bluff this hand ever. Going to proceed with caution. Lots of caution, in fact. Half pot, so 1/3 half. It's quite a modest sizing scheme here. It's not screaming strength. That's probably a very good river. Don't have aces. Okay, it was a very good river. Nice. Lucky me. Here we're just going to run with it. We're going to run it once as well. Try and build a big stack. Sorry, I want to run it once and get a big stack here. Just makes for a better video in my opinion. King 10-5, half pot check. We'll just run with the bet this time. Not going to be RNGing like I mentioned. So he's taken some time before calling. Maybe he had a hand like King Queen and decided that he didn't want to raise it. If he snap called, he's got less of those strong hands. When he takes his time, I'm a bit more worried. Now I will take my check. Plenty of other hands to bluff first. Interesting. There's a lot of clubs for him to bluff. 15. You win. Not wanting to call that bet. I was thinking about bluff catching, but then he bet that large. Never mind. This call should be very, very capped here. Then again, I'm still behind the cutoff some of the time. But yeah, this small blind here is very unlikely we're losing to them. It's very likely they've got some kind of suited connector. Pocket pair. Half pots. We'll take the check this time. I'm not RNGing, so I'll just kind of alternate between the aggressive options and not. This seems very bluffy, if I had to be honest, because I don't think they've got many. Okay, they do rep some pocket fives, but there's a lot of random bluffs in their range. I'm just going to get very stubborn here. Overbets. Cool. So now I lose to diamonds. Sure. Half pot. Then what am I losing to? I'm losing to pocket fives. Maybe ace queen. I can't see ace queen. Much, I think they just raise it pre-flop. So I'm basically losing to pocket fives, pocket nines. And then I'm just beating random spades, random jack 10. I think I win 1 in 4 times here. I think he's got 6, 7 of spades or something. Fives, yeah. He's very polarized call. I like my call there. So if I start giving him ace king, ace jack, other 2 pairs, then I should certainly fold. There's too many value hands I'm losing to. But when I'm stripping him down to just pocket fives, just ace queen I'm not giving him much. Again, I already told you his range is going to be too many suited connectors, pocket pairs. Yeah, it's just not many hands I'm losing to. Going to call here. Everyone involved in the hand is short stacked, which is great for me. And king queen, we're going to bump this massively. There should be a lot of dead money involved in this hand. Unfortunate. I like my decision, but yes, that is going to be part of it sometimes. Invest this much money and still not see a flop. Painful. Threes. Cool, I guess. Very fast ISO, which is very strong in my opinion. I think I'm just out of there, actually. God. Should have just called. Yeah, the ISO sizing and timing, though, really is very strong, in my opinion. So you can see that I'm very disciplined there. For example, with the Queen 10, Queen to the clubs, I'm so out of line. Calling turn is outrageous. Calling river is outrageous. They are both horrendous calls. In case anyone's thinking that I think that's a good call in theory, just to be clear, it's a terrible call. But exploitatively, I quite like it. And then inversely with the pocket threes there, now I'm showing a lot of respect and discipline to just call and then fold, because the guy snap raised and he used quite a large sizing. So yeah, I'm not just splashing around, always thinking they're up to something, trying to stay objective as best I can. Third pot range here. Cool, take it down. Would have bet the turn and river to straight there. Again, marking these short stackers. Lots of them in these games. Combo draw. He should bet half pot, B40, something like that. Queen Jack just calling here. Pretty nice flop. Good for my hand and good for my range. Half pot we'd expect to see. Where is hello? Hello. Gonna raise this one. I do have my RNG now. This time's gonna be a raise. Block all of those hands. Jack 9 suited. We've got very, very nice suits here. We're gonna bet this time. Did RNG it. We've got all the blockers of the 9s and 10s. So it's very, very nice. And here we turn double gut shot plus block the 6-5. So just absolutely hammering bets right now. Turn, I think, just checking here. Do get there with a flush. Not sure what I'm going to be doing. Yeah, checking back the Queen Jack. 9-6. I feel like if I shove, I do get a lot of disciplined folds here. So I'm going to go with some silly B40 sizing here, just because I think if I shove, it's just too good of a story. 3 straights get there, flushes get there. It's a very easy fold with overpairs. So by doing this, I'm putting him in a tough situation with those overpairs. I've been spoken into. Let me tank so I don't give any reads, and then big bets. Okay. I think I'm folding here. Nice hand if you did bluff me. Show the bluff. Show the bluff. He would definitely show the bluff, so he had value there. Good luck. That's my read. Yeah, cool. I think I've put this guy in a tough situation right now with one of those overpairs by the looks of things. If he shoves, we just auto call because he would have shoved a flush already. So I don't think I'm really ever getting called here. It'd be a really sick level to take that long and then shove a flush, but I think realistically people would just shove it sooner. He did make discipline fold. Good for him. I mean, the run out is very, very, very good for me. 3 straights, flushes. I raise versus EP. It's hard to overbluff that situation. It's kind of why I size down. Sizing down means you can bluff less. And when you're struggling to find bluffs, that seems to make some sense. Calling here versus big sizing. Going to lead a big blind here. The idea is that my range is very condensed. When I check call big blind versus EP big sizing, he can have a complete airball bluff. I cannot. And on the river, honestly not sure the best players, but I think it's probably to give up here. I do have other hands to bluff with first, and it's not a good river for me, so this seems like a give up. This is B40 range. King Jack probably looks weird, but I think it's the correct play. Don't think we can bluff river. Really? No, I'm tempted. But I'm not gonna. I get a little bit paranoid sometimes. UK flag. Oh, shit. I thought there was a chance that It's a UK flag. He's seen my videos. He knows I like to go kind of crazy after those capped lines. And then, you know, he may be inducing me the whole time. But he just had a bluff. So fair enough. That tells me to, you know, get back in line, stop being paranoid. Pocket tens. I don't mind either option. We're going to raise half the time. This time is a raise. I think I'm going to go nice and big just because I am deep with the UTG player here. I don't mind calling because you can go 5 ways potentially with pocket tens. That's not a bad idea either. So yeah, both seem good. That king jack, it probably looks very, very weird. I will likely have shown the solution already on screen. If not, I will show it now. I think my play was good everywhere, to be honest with you, even though it looks strange line. Pretty sure that one is solver approved. River, we have too many other bluffs in my opinion. Jack 10, 7-8, spades, and it's a bad river. So yeah, there are people in the pool that know me. That's the problem. That's why I didn't want to bluff with the king jack when he goes small. Just because he might know my videos, and you can see there are a few people who have said hello. It's like walking a tightrope. It's a delicate balance. Are they just bluffing 8 high for 1/3? Or have they just got the nuts and they've seen your videos and they're waiting for you to just check shove all in? How do you figure that out? Both of these hands are very, very marginal. Ace 8, Ace 5. This is a pot check board. I will find no bets with my hand. Watch his timing sizing. Fast 1/3. Okay, fantastic. Gonna raise big. Actually, I'm gonna raise this sizing. This is a very bad sizing. You should raise much, much, much bigger. But it's just gonna target what I'm trying to target here, which is a fold on the river. Go back and watch the turn. Do you really think the fast 1/3, which is what he did on the turn, was very strong? Do you think he protects that range? I don't think so. That's why I did what I did. Queen Jack, I'm going to mostly call here. Playing very deep. I don't want to play Queen Jack in such a deep. I would rather have an ace or a king. It's very, very important to have the really nutted equity when you're playing very deep stacked. This guy is short stacked here, but very tight. So we're just going to mark him as a tight recreational and fold. Okay, he checks. We'll bet this hand sometimes. We're very deep here, so I probably want to bet for a big sizing. Never mind. So you can decide how to play the flop here. I think this is a very flexible situation. If you want to stab for a big sizing and polarize, do that. If you want to stab for a small sizing and depolarize or kind of merge, then do that. Both are actually fine in theory. Now, if the board was ace 10-4, bringing the Broadway connectivity, I think you don't have an option. You have to stab big. But on the ace 9-4, particularly when the ace is offsuit to the flush draw, which neutralizes the board, I believe you've got two options there. And I take the depolarized routes. That's just my preference. And you can also have different preferences against different villains. I didn't know who villain was, so I didn't do it for that reason. But you can start to play multiple versions of poker. Opening a bit bigger there. I usually open 2.25, but in that case 2.5 because we're 200 blinds effective. 3-2 is a fold. One of the things I like to do in poker is I play very, very wide from the big blinds. I've played a lot of heads up in my life and I feel like it's taught me how to play a lot more hands. 6-max players are generally more comfortable in tight range situations, and when it gets to blindy blinds, they don't know how to play their equity very well. This is a very big tell here. Face up. He snap bet big. Just going to put a note on him. A little bit straightforward in my opinion. 7-6, let's play some poker, shall we? This is a marginal 3-bet. I'm just not going to mix this kind of stuff. It's good for the video to VPip these kind of hands. A lot of viewers, I imagine, will struggle to play these suited connectors out of position in 3-bet pots. Here against the short stack, just going to bet. And here, we're going to go 40%, give or take. Can't see the chat box for some reason. Check back. Check the turn. You also can go like B40. I don't mind it. Okay. I'm gonna min raise. Need to learn these emotes. Looking for the thank you. it's eluding me, can't find it. Check river. I'm playing 1/3, 2/3 here. Realistically, I don't have many 2/3 in my range because a lot of my hands that want to bet 2/3 just bet the turn. So yeah, and I think 7-6 is a bit too thin here. Nice hand. I don't know where that thank you one is. Although if I had emoted at the end saying thank you, it would have actually come across the wrong way. Did I win the ace-9 there? So what happened? I min raised and he folded. Interesting. Okay. I min raised just because my hand was good enough and he was a yellow tag. It felt like calling was a bit too tight there. Can open 3x into the short stack big blind there, assuming some kind of weaker player. When people don't top up, they are most likely recreational. It's not guaranteed, but it's a good read. Deuces is actually a fold in this game, I think. In this rake structure. Bluff machine. I've always been curious of people who name their accounts in such ways where you can potentially give off levels like bluff machine or massive nit. It would make me a little bit uneasy playing an account like that, giving off a read. Of course, you can, reverse engineer, yada yada, but it creates this level. So it'd make me very uneasy to have an account name like that. You just don't know who's going to read into it or not. It feels like you set yourself on the wrong foot. Ace-3 is probably a fold in this game with the rake, but he's a yellow big blind. So we're going to open very wide against him. You want to really push the boat out against the yellow tags the later and later you are in position, because you're going to have more isolation versus them. This has been the guy, never mind, I think I'm still folding. This guy said hi to me earlier, and now he's using my small 3, but I wonder if he's doing that for my videos. Who knows? Anyway, so when you're opening, let's say UTG, and the big blind is a yellow tag, it's unlikely you're going to have isolated action versus them, meaning that you'll be heads up versus them. There's 4 other players in between you both that are going to try and get involved with the yellow tag. But when you're blind on blind, you're obviously guaranteed to be up against them. So you want to really push the boat out in late position. So maybe UTG, you open a little bit wider against a yellow big blind. But then if you're blind on blind, you open a ton wider all of a sudden. Just going to make a good fold here. Like I mentioned, I just don't think people are finding the polar 3-bets in late position. In the small blind, they will be, because the small blind is a much more intuitive range. It's linear. It's built from a bunch of offsuit broadways and suited connectors and suited broadways, and you get the idea. It's a very intuitive range that people have been doing for a long time, even before solvers. But the polarized big blind range is supposed to include a bunch of hands like Ace-5 offsuit, Jack-10 offsuit, King-5 suited. And I don't expect weaker players, which is this pool, and without trying to come across as too much of a dick here, NL100 is not super high stakes, so players are not going to be super elite, they are going to miss these unintuitive 3-bets. So yeah, my read coming into this pool is to be quite vigilant of that. Going to cold call sevens here. 2 short stack players, and the 3-bet's not very rich, so I don't mind doing that. And I'm going to get a little bit of a donkey donk out, as the wacko would say. Let's go with that again. So I'm just going to try and find out where I am. I've got backdoor straights going on as well here. Fast call is good. That was a pretty good result, honestly. If I could ask for a snap call and a fold, I would take it. Let's do it again. That's not the river I was wanting. It's not... Yeah, no, that's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. You know what I didn't think of? I could have bluffed. Didn't think about that. I could have just shoved this river, actually. That would have been an interesting play. When he snap calls the flop and calls pretty fast on the turn, he doesn't have many spades, in my opinion. He's got loads of 10s. In hindsight, I wish I had shoved the river there. And got really out of line. It's an interesting flop here. They should bet range for like B40, B50. It's a very good board for them. Goes a third pot. Fair enough. We'll raise pretty often, honestly. Not this time. Timing sizing, very important here. I believe they're going to be very face up. So good hands bet too often. Weak hands check too often. So we can play very straightforwardly. Oh, he does this weird sizing. I don't think I can do much against that, unfortunately. I think I'm still surrendering my hand here. The weird sizing there, I'm not expecting many queens and jacks. They just take a check, so it could be a middling king or something. Going to cold call with the short stack big blind here. And apparently full of boats. That's reasonable. Let's go for a small bet. I expect this player is probably checking range, because that's what players do too often. So there's a good chance I've still got value to be had against the UGG player. Okay, we get called. I don't mind checking here, honestly, and just letting him catch up. In fact, I am going to do that. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Calling half pots. Pay attention to timing sizing from him on the turn. And just go 2/3 on river, I guess. Very fast check. I don't think it means much now when the ace of hearts comes. Unfortunately, we are just rendered to checking. Does mean we can check shove, though. It's a really cool line. All right. Because when he snap checks the turn and the ace comes, it's very unlikely he's rivered a very strong hand. As in a hand that will bet call a shove. You can see how curious I am of all the different lines. The pocket sevens there just moments ago. I do like my bet on flop and turn. Of course, it looks a bit foolish when I run into king 10. It looks like I've just lost the most against a hand like that, but I still like my line. We can't be results oriented. A lot of weaker players are very results oriented, and they'll see a line like that and think, what are you doing? You've just lost 2 streets against king 10 without realizing of all the other things that can happen, which are good. For example, the PFR there folded probably king queen or an ace, and we got that out of the pots. So that's still a good result. Anyway, point is, I was regretting not shoving there, which is what no one would do. But I think shoving's very good in that line. So the mark of, I think one of my biggest strengths, I've mentioned this in previous videos, is I'm very, very, very curious of all the different things I can do. Just value betting the ace king here. It's unlikely I'm losing. It's not impossible, but it's unlikely. There's a lot of people winning these jackpots in this video. So this is one of those polar 3 bets, the queen 9 off. People are missing this at NL100, which is probably fine, by the way. It's not a way of me saying you should always find it, but that's the reason why I'm overfolding to the 3 bets. These triple Broadway boards, you can just bet 10% very often. I actually got that from one of my viewers. Queen 9, mix it up. Check this time. Yeah, going back to the triple Broadway, some guy commented saying that you can go 10%, which I had never known. I actually thought they were wrong as well. So I did some work on it, did some research. It turned out they were completely right. You can just go 10% on those triple Broadway boards, out of position 3-bit pots. So yeah, ever since I've been doing that. Gonna go for a small sizing here. The reason why is that I've got a ton of ace X that arrive in this line. Ace deuce of clubs, ace 3 of clubs, ace 4 of clubs, you get the idea. And they want to bet to deny equity. So I quite like betting my range around my ace. I've chosen Queen 9 as a good hand to use as well, because it blocks his continues. And I'm just going to shove. He's very middling here with this very small raise. He's given me, he's raised half pot, which is very small. Fives I called versus the recreational, and I've back called. It wasn't a very big squeeze, and then 130 effective, 140. Here I'm just going to last second shove. I think it looks very weak. As in, like, it looks like some random bluff, hopefully at least. He just folds. So it looks like I induced something, which is nice. Fives, we're going to raise. He's gone extra small here. He's gone 4. Not a third, not half, but 20%. It's very small. Now I think I am just done. Mostly. We'll see what he does. I'm still ahead of ace king. Is it too greedy to value bet pocket fives? I really think he's got ace king here. Or ace 10 or something. Is that just too greedy? Remember that he's squeezed. He's got less of these 9s and 8s and things. Usually those hands is cool. Ace 10. Ace 5, yeah. That was a thin value bet. I like that one. So hopefully you guys can see. I'm not... Okay, let's say that fives there is not a mandatory value bet, obviously. And I'm also not going to be here to say that that was a great play or genius play or anything, because it could be bad. The point that I'm making is that the way I play poker is I don't try to memorize a solver or memorize a chart or memorize heuristics or memorize mass data analysis. I try to work out each situation. And in that case, the fact that he had squeezed meant that I lost to less Jack 10 suited and less pocket 8s because his range was a bit more polarized. Now, whether or not that analysis is good is not really what I'm getting at. It's the point that I'm thinking about things very in the moment. And that's the mark of a great player, in my opinion. I'm not trying to put myself up there. King Jack I could have bet. Honestly, I was just too busy rambling about that hand. We're against 2 Johns. Feels a little bit unfair. Some collusion going on. Actually, 3 Johns. Luke Johnson. I check. Quick half pots. I kind of believe him here. Okay. Really interesting spot developing. We have to call only. 5 betting is absurd. And folding is too tight. Was really hoping for a queen there. Would have made life a lot easier. Okay, let's be in the moment. So play the hand with me. He's taken some time, bet quarter pots. That honestly seems too small, to be honest with you. Good and cool. Raising seems too thin. In my mind though, if he had pocket kings, he might size up. Quarter pot, when we're this deep, is a little bit small. He could have gone 30, could have gone 40, could have gone 50, and then snap check. So now I would say he has ace king or pocket jacks. So we'll do the same thing as last time. And we'll try and figure out if he's got ace king or jacks when he raises. I think he's got ace king. There's only 3 combos of jacks. Ace king. Cool. In honesty, I didn't know whether he had ace king or jacks. I was just going off the combo count. There is potentially 16 combos of ace king, and there's 3 jacks, and I get 2 to 1. So just doing some math there, he doesn't have to bluff many of the ace kings for me to have a very profitable call. This is a check, I think. Pay attention to what he does. Fast check. Awesome. Really good news. Go for small bets. He might fold now, or he might fold later. And on the river, this should be fine. And this is a bit punty, actually. I think I'm getting carried away here. Don't like this play. Should have gone 15. The fact that I bet big is good, but this is excessive. Getting raised is crazy. It makes no sense, actually. The hell do you have? Queen Jack. Show me the bluff. I like my line, but I don't like the fact that I bet 20.5 there. That was a waste of $5. I should have bet 15. Much better line. I actually think the bigger you go there, the more suspicious you... Like, the way I think about this in coaching is, I always use the term raising eyebrows. I feel like there's a line at which, if you go too big, you end up just raising villain's eyebrow. I would have rather have just gone 15 there. 15 represents the kings, which I'm trying to tell him that I've got. And it's more economical for the times that I'm beat. So that was a bad bet. Getting carried away a bit. Big ISO. Think I'm just making disciplined fold here. Big 3 bets. Okay. Chance to tango with John again. Potentially. Sizing up a bit with my 3-bet because of the deep stack. Or deeper stack. Fast call. So, in GTO, he's supposed to have pocket kings in a calling range sometimes. With the speed at which he called, I don't think he's got pocket kings. We're just going to go for a large bet most of the time. No, I'm going to check. I actually think I get way more information if I check here. I want information. That's kind of worrying, actually, because he's gone like 40% there. Usually you see 30. I'm just going to check call. Call me a nit. But yeah, I'm a little bit concerned. That's a great turn to see. What's 16% of 40? 1/6, like this then, right? And here, gonna go with a big sizing infrequently. I'm gonna check this hand most of the time, even though I've got 2 pairs. It's not very often that I get a clean run out, so I'm not wanting to build too big of a pot. I have to call here because I'm still beating jacks and stuff. I'm not thrilled about this one, guys, but I have to call. I'm folding. That got me spooked out. I don't think he raises jacks that big. It's a bit nonsensical to me to raise. Shit, don't time out. It's a bit nonsensical to raise jacks that big when I'm trying to tell him I've got a 9. Why would you raise jacks that big? And I block his bluffing range as well. I don't know, listen to my gut there, I guess. I would love to know what that guy had when I had queens there. Something freaked me out. Oh, wow, look at this. So he snap checked the flop. Really good news. Gonna go 9. Gonna go huge, actually. And then not bluff the river. Because if he calls, he's likely got a jack then. It's not impossible for him to have a jack, but it's just less likely when he snap checks the flop and then a second jack rolls off. I'm going with this really, really big bet because I've got implied odds if I hit. We'll go half pot here. And if he raises, I am absolutely folding. There's also a good chance I'm still beat to a flush, but not that good of a chance. Yeah, I'm beat here. So he had some kind of flush draw. If I had, let's say, 6-5 of hearts, I would bet small on the turn and then bluff the river. But with a hand like King 10, double gut shots, and overcards, I like going with the big bet right now. Oh, this could be interesting. Very fast check. Very, very fast check here. I don't mind checking back as well. It's okay. I'm just going to roll it down the middle. Half the time I'll bet. This time is a bet. Just because he's shown a weak timing doesn't mean I have to go after him. I can still check. Turn. I love just doing this. Just betting pot. This is a really scary bet to face. Really, really scary. I'm repping straights, 2 pairs, flushes, sets, and he's repping some kind of marginal overpair. So it's a really scary bet for him to face. And now on the river, does he call all in if I shove? Obviously, that's the question. I don't know. I'll hope that he does. I kind of think this is better, actually. I don't think he's got King of Spades, honestly. He checked the flop so fast. King of Spades? Oh, wow, okay. Maybe misvalue there. Although it's not guaranteed if I shove that he would call. He may very well fold as well. I didn't expect many King of Spades in his line because he snap checked the flop, if you just go back and watch it. It really felt more like King's no spade. That's why I bet so big on the turn there. Because I felt like I could get King's no spade, Queen's no spade, Jack's no spade to fold when I'm repping all those good hands. But he did have a very protected Kings there. Fair enough to him. Gonna go for such an amazingly good squeeze spot with Ace-5 suited deep against this guy and super deep against this guy. So really gonna pump this Ace-5 up. And gonna call the 7-6. You should squeeze 7-6 sometimes too, but I just wanted to play a call. It's good in the video to not only do the same thing. We get back called. I think we just have a range bet actually on this board. These back call situations are very good for the 3-better and not this guy who's back called. 7-6. Now we're done with it. Yeah. So when you raise and you face the guy who's called and then back called, you have a very, very big advantage. So usually you can range bet a lot of flops, which is what I did. Even with a hand like this, Ace-5 of diamonds, I still think it's fine. And then on the 8 turn, obviously just check fold. Yeah, seems fine. Obviously, very expensive loss there, losing a third of a buy-in, but I think that's the right play. Obviously, pre-flop is fine. And then, like I mentioned, on the flop, you just have a huge advantage because they've not raised initially. And exploitatively, humans are really bad at calling the traps. So button versus hijack, you're supposed to call some queens, you're supposed to call some ace-kings, you're supposed to call ace-queen suiteds. But humans are really bad at calling those hands. They usually just always 3-bet them. So when you're against a guy who's called, he's got too many suited connectors, pocket pairs, not enough ace-queens, ace-kings, pocket jacks, pocket queens, you're going to do even better exploitatively. So one of my tricks, you could say, is to over c-bet those situations, expecting a few too many folds, even with junk like ace-5 of diamonds. Right, we'll wrap it up, flopping a set. Make these 2 hands the last hand of the video. Ace-queen, what will happen Very small bets. I'm going to raise this one not very often here. Did roll a raise though, so yeah, this time I'll do it. But realistically, a set on this board, super deep, not going to raise very often. Cool, that will wrap it up. Hope you guys have enjoyed. It's by myself, Lee Johnson with KnowYourPoker. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye-bye for now.